Hi, this is Dominic with Independence Realty, and welcome to our first episode of the Grand Valley Through the Ages. It's going to be a monthly segment where we feature different stories of historical significance that happened in the area. Now, since it's October, I figured a great story would be on different hauntings in the area. When I first moved here, I always heard about the Whitman building haunting, but I never really knew much about it. So I decided to go down to the Museum of Western Colorado to find out what really happened here.
Okay, great. We're going to talk a little bit about the Park Opera House, which is now gone, but it's the parking lot of the Museum of Western Colorado, and that's where the Park Opera House stood. It was built in 1892 and taken down in the 1930s. But it has a couple of ghosts. That's the important part. And in 1907, the interesting part, Ethel Rednick, a 20-year-old girl from Whitewater who had just recovered from rheumatic fever, came with her boyfriend to watch a play, and the play was called A Desperate Chance. There were a lot of fake gunpowder shots on there, and every time they would fire a gun, Ethel would stand up and go, oh, oh. Well, at the end of the play, as everybody was filing out, Ethel suddenly had a heart attack and died in the floor of the Park Opera House. Well, that part of the Park Opera House is now where the door to the Whitman building in the parking lot is now. Ethel apparently died so suddenly, her father and her mother and her brother had to come out from Whitewater, take her body back to the Whitewater Cemetery where she's buried. But in the Whitman building now, which was the exit to the old Park Opera House, there's been ghostly appearances of a young lady coming down the stairs in Victorian dress. Now, I'm going to leave Ethel right there because a year later, on stage at the Park Opera House, Hal Carlisle, 58, was one of the actors, and he came in from the wings, stepping on the stage, and died of a heart attack in the first act of the play. Well, the other actors didn't know what to do when you had a dead actor laying on the stage. The audience didn't know that he was dead, so the actors just worked around it, and they assumed it was part of the play. Well, when the final curtain came down, they took Hal Carlisle's body off of the stage. The stage manager then relieved him of his wallet and sent a telegram back east to Hal's wife that your husband's body is here in Grand Junction, Colorado. They went on to Salt Lake City. Mrs. Carlisle, back in New York, didn't have the money to bring her husband back to New York and wired back, somebody needs to bury my husband in Grand Junction, Colorado. Well, the head of the theatrical groups back east wired $2,000, and they buried Hal here in Grand Junction at the Fairview Cemetery. Since he was a Mason, the head of the Masonic Lodge and other members and the local acting group here in town all attended the funeral. But the interesting part about this is we believe, going back to Ethel, she still roams what she thinks is the Park Opera House. She died so sudden, she doesn't know she's dead. So let me read you a little portion here on Ethel. It says, perhaps Ethel doesn't know she's passed. Her death was so sudden. Maybe she's trying to find her way home to Whitewater, Colorado. If you happen to see her, assure her that her brother and parents, Roy, are waiting for her in Whitewater. Just remind her the play has ended, the curtain has dropped, and it's okay to go home.